Salutations, everybody. Hope everybody's having a good Sunday. I think I said hi to everybody that's in here so far. Oh, funnel heads, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Meg is always here. Thank you, Meg. You are awesome. Laura is in the bathtub. She's watching this from the tub. Katie P, you were here today. Thanks for being here. Taylor, thanks for being here. So, all right, we got 12. Oh, the crowd is growing here. Trying to keep up with it. You guys know I'm unsupervised because Laura isn't here right now. So she's usually scrolling through all the names. Carson, hey, buddy. So we've had a really busy cruise news week. It's been really crazy. Lots of stuff going on. The tropical storm Nicole turned into a hurricane. One of the latest hurricanes to touch land in the hurricane season. So fortunately, it wasn't as deadly as it could have been. 4 people were reported dead in Florida. I'm not getting a lot of details on the damage because it's still, kind of crazy. But I did see some footage of sharks swimming down the middle of a street somewhere in Florida. Isn't that crazy? So with that, oh, hey, look at Laura donating money to us. She's crazy. You guys don't even know the woman I married. We always have fun. We're perfect together. We're like peas and carrots. We just watched Forrest Gump a couple days ago, watching it for the 100th time. All right, so earlier this week, during our weekly live stream, I did report some news that was related to Tropical Storm Nicole and how it caused some havoc with rescheduling cruise terminals and cruise ports and stuff like that. Now, we've had so much more stuff happen since then, so I'm going to get into it. Probably the biggest one and the craziest one is the Majestic Princess was had a COVID-19 breakout on board, Outbreak. 800 plus people tested positive. I saw different reports that there was like 3,300 guests on board, so you can figure probably about 1,200 crew. It's usually 1 to 3 or 1 to 2, depending on the cruise line. Could be higher than 1,200 with Princess. So that's pretty crazy. And it was in Australia, and it was in the middle of a 12-day cruise. So they returned back to Sydney, and they allowed the guests that tested negative to get off the normal way, the normal process of getting off the ship. The ones that tested positive were taking another route. That's all I've got on that. So they're probably taking someplace where they're going to quarantine, probably for, 5 days or something. They are really strict about this COVID-19 protocols over in Australia, and they kept cruising out for over 2 years. And, it's just a matter of time, before, they're kind of isolated because Australia is way out, way out there. Australia, New Zealand, they're way out. So they were able to keep the worst of it from hitting them. But now, they're dealing with what we were dealing with a year ago. Now, most of the people that tested positive were asymptomatic with 0 to very few symptoms. So again, this isn't some kind of deadly variant like Delta. And I always refer to Delta. I don't mean to laugh. It's kind of a nervous laugh because I think about the fact that we were sailing in the Mexican Riviera on the Panorama during the middle of the peak of Delta. Thank goodness everything went okay. We didn't have any major outbreaks on board or nothing like that. So that was a good thing. All right. Another news story. Carnival notified guests yesterday, November 12th, that guests for the Carnival Magic out of Port Canaveral, they're going to depart from Terminal 3, but instead of returning to Terminal 3, they're going to report to Terminal 6. That's not that big of a deal. It might be, if they were like, pre-scheduled Ubers or something like that. but it shouldn't be that big of a deal. But it made the news, and the sailing is a 5-night Southern Caribbean sailing. I don't know about you guys, man, but the Carnival Magic's like the ship that's everywhere, man. It's on every kind of sailing everywhere. We were on it out of New York back in August, and here it is now. It's back in Florida at Port Canaveral. All right, so next up, we have staying with Carnival for a minute here. A guest won $500,000 on a Mardi Gras during the $1 million slot pool. Pretty awesome. I wish I was that guy. And then we have the Carnival Celebration. I talked about this earlier this week. Of course, we are very excited about the Carnival Celebration because we're going to be on it next week. I'm just seeing who's here. Hey, Moonlight, how you doing? MH Family Adventures. Hey, how you guys doing? They're going to be on the celebration with us. And all right, am I missing anybody else? Okay, so the Carnival Celebration is on her way. I've been tracking it, and it is crossing the Atlantic now, and it's going to arrive next Sunday. And sometime Sunday, Huddle Adventures and MH Family Adventures and all the other people that were lucky enough to be invited are going to go to the naming ceremony. And we're just waiting to get the final details on that. We're all a little nervous because we haven't heard exactly what is happening with that yet, but we've been told we will get details here shortly. Okay, now Royal Caribbean earlier this week opened their new state-of-the-art cruise terminal in Galveston. That was on November 9th. They opened it. And they spent $125 million on this new cruise terminal. And they welcomed the first Oasis-class ship to the terminal, Allure of the Seas. So that's really good news. Galveston is becoming a major player in the cruise world. And we have sailed out of Galveston. We did a back-to-back on the Vista. And then we were on the Carnival Dream last month. So out of Galveston. And we like sailing out of Galveston. The only thing bad about it is that drink package doesn't kick in until day 2. So you got to be aware of that if you're a drinker. Let's see what else we got here. Got some good news from MSC. MSC reached a record level of bookings, their highest ever in October of 2022. They are the fastest growing cruise line in the world right now. They keep bringing out new ships. They just introduced a new ship recently, and they have another one on the way. They had over 400,000 bookings for the winter and summer of 2023. So that's pretty awesome from MSC. And here's some bad news, guys. The mouse, Disney. I'm not happy with them right now. They are bringing back the old, terrible muster drill. The in-person muster drill. Can you believe that? The only good thing to come out of COVID, the muster drill, and they're doing it in person now. So effective, this went into effect for 2 ships yesterday for Disney. The Disney Dream and the Disney Fantasy are doing in-person muster drills as of yesterday. The next one will be the Wish, 11/14, and then the Wonder, the 16th of this month, and then the Magic, the 20th of this month. I don't know why any cruise line would go back to doing that again. That is the worst part of cruising, is the in-person muster drill. Tell me, name one thing worse than that. That is like a buzzkill. Here we go. Can't hear, but joining you live from the deer stand, reading the chat, and Lips. That guy. That's my boy, Big Josh. The big man that loves the little Debbies. I'm checking my detailed notes here, guys, to see if I missed anything. I do not believe I have missed anything. I think I have touched on everything that I wanted to touch on. I'll tell you what, today was a crazy day for us. This weekend, I should say. We are 5 days away from flying to Florida. So we are in such a crunch with Christmas coming because we're going to be back for after we get back from the celebration. We'll be gone 8 days because we're staying 2 nights in Miami, 6 nights on the celebration. We come home on a Sunday. We fly back to Miami the following Saturday. So 6 days later, we fly back to Miami to get on Oasis of the Seas with Taylor Rinko and Kyle Rinko. And we'll be on that cruise ship we'll stay one night in Miami again. And then we'll be on that ship for 7 days. And then we get back, I believe we get back like almost midnight on December 11th. So we had to get all the Christmas decorations up this weekend. We have to get packed this week. It's a super crazy week for us. So we are that couple that has our Christmas tree up before Thanksgiving this year, because we'll be doing Thanksgiving at sea. And so it's really crazy. I did the outdoor decorating today when I got home from work. So came home from work and went straight outside, and wouldn't you know, it was like I want to say it's low 30s. The ground's frozen. I'm trying to stick off our snowman and reindeer and everything that's on the lawn, doing my Clark Griswold. I can't even get the stakes to drive into the ground because it's so frozen. It's crazy. It's way too early in the year to be this cold. It's way too early in the year to be doing Christmas decorations. So I know my neighbors are watching me thinking I am nuts. But we're the first ones decorated in the neighborhood, and I'm sure we're probably the first ones with the tree up. So Laura did a beautiful job on decorating the tree. And she shared pictures on her personal Instagram account, if you guys are following her there. I don't think she shared it on Huddle Adventures Facebook. I always have to remind her that she's a social media influencer and to share stuff on Huddle Adventures. The Cruise World. Hey, yes, Mark is going to be there. Hey, buddy, we are waiting on our shirts. We ordered Cruise World shirts. We have a plan with Mark. Mark and Stephanie, we're going to try to get on the Family Feud and win it all. So I got a notification that one of the shirts shipped, so that one should be arriving any day now, and hopefully the other one gets here before we leave. Spring is crazy. That the site that Mark uses, I use it too, and sometimes you order stuff, you get it right away. Other stuff you order and you forget you ordered it because it takes forever for it to arrive. But I've been happy with survey says. I've been happy with the quality of the stuff that we are that we're pushing, that we're selling out there. I'm really happy with it. And of course you get to pick, right? You get to pick which brand t-shirts are the ones you're going to use. I will tell you, if you do order anything from there, from my experience, most things are running small, so go up a size. All right, so we got cruising scene in here, guys. Make sure you hit a hashtag creator if you're a content creator here, so that everybody's following everybody. I mean, I know how hard this is. Being a content creator is not easy. So, we put a lot of time. Destination Fun, how you doing? We put a lot of time and energy into this, and you don't do it so expecting no one to see it. You want people to see your content and find some kind of value in it. So we are all working hard all the time. And I know my peers in here are like me. They wake up thinking about their channel. They go to bed thinking about their channel. It's something that never stops. You're always thinking about it. And so now this will be our last Eddie's top cruise news of the week, probably for a couple weeks. Now that I'm thinking about it, because next Sunday we will be in Miami, and then the following Sunday we will be on where will we be? We'll be coming back And then the following Sunday will be on Oasis. And the following Sunday, so yeah, it'll be 5 weeks. So I'm going to be gone for a while doing this. But what we're going to try to do, we're going to try to do lives on the actual ship. That's something we haven't done yet. We did a live, I think, in Bermuda at the port. We tried one real quick, and it was pretty shaky. It didn't the Wi-Fi was not not the Wi-Fi. The cellular service in Bermuda was terrible. I was getting like 3G. It's like 1999 there with their phone signals. Hey Julie, how you doing? Good to see you. We got Julie from How We Cruise. I almost said How You Cruise. How You Cruise, How We Cruise. And yeah, so we had a really bad signal, and my mom was trying to watch it, and she's going, "Yeah, you were breaking up," and she used that voice too. You're breaking up. Will G, how you doing? You guys are getting here late. I'll just tell you the bad news. Disney is going back to the in-person muster drill. I say we boycott the mouse, and we just don't do no more Disney stuff. Shut them down. That's crazy. That's really, really nuts. So that's the bad news for today. And then of course the Majestic Princess with its COVID-19 outbreak in Australia isn't actually great news either. Although it's a very mild strain, I believe it's probably the Omicron variant because it's nothing lethal coming from it. So yeah, so that's the dog. That's where we are at, and yeah, I can't believe Disney, man. We're not really Disney fans, so we don't have to worry about doing the muster drill on their ships. Let's just hope that Carnival and Norwegian and Royal don't follow those guys, man. Usually, if Norwegian does something or Carnival does something or Royal does something, the other two follow it, right? But Disney isn't really setting standards for the other three so much. So let's hope that they don't take that as an example and do it. Because I honestly, I think it's working out fine. Now, a lot of people, they freak out when they get on board and you see these posts. We're sitting on the Liberty and we can't even set sail because knuckleheads aren't doing their muster drill. They're posting from the ship onto that Facebook group we all love, the Carnival VIFP group, complaining about how the ship isn't going to take off. And I got news for you. They do that on every sailing. There isn't this isn't like a mass problem where they're running into trouble where the muster drill is not working. They had the same issue when they used to do it in person. They couldn't catch everybody. People were hiding all over the ship trying to avoid it. So they did the same stuff too, same tactics. They turn off the bars and the food to get you out on that deck in the hot sun. And we just got to make it known that we don't want to do that. You know, as customers of the cruise industry, we like the e-muster drill. And I don't know if you guys have noticed that what they do to cover themselves before they set sail, they actually do the muster drill over the PA. So your cruise director comes on and talks you right through the muster drill, tells you everything, except they don't show you obviously putting on the life vest. And then they give you the sample alarm warnings and all that stuff, and then you take off. So let's just stick with it, and let's hope that the other cruise lines don't do that. My goodness. So let's see. Yeah, KDP, you did not need to put your tree up today. You're not going nowhere, sister. You guys got in here late. Our house is decorated for Christmas already. I did the outside when I got home from work. And thankfully on Saturdays and Sundays, I work, I'm part-time. I only work 8 hours. So it feels like a part-time job. Hey, Warmstrong, how you doing? There's another buddy that's going to be on the celebration next weekend. Oh, and that's the other thing. We're not packed. We're not packed. And we're trying not to run into what we did on the last cruise. We literally packed the night before the dream. And when you have anxiety, that's not good. That's not good. And Laura's like, I packed my suitcase and I weighed it. It was 66 pounds. I was like, oh no, we got to lose 16 pounds. So yeah, we'll be all right this week though. We have a plenty of time to get packed. So we're going to leave. Like I said, we're leaving Saturday morning, but our flight is at 6 a.m. We are not getting very lucky with these flights, man. It's all we could get. 6 a.m. So I'm not happy about that. We're happy at the airport like 4 in the morning. And that's crazy. So we're up to 19 people. Just real briefly, guys, I'm going to touch on the two big stories. I covered about 8. But the big story is Disney is bringing back the in-person. They brought back the in-person muster drill. Started with 2 of their ships yesterday. And the Majestic Princess is had a major outbreak of COVID-19 on board in Australia yesterday as well. So that was like over 20% of the guests on board were positive for COVID-19. Just when you think COVID-19 is gone, it comes back. It's like Jason, Michael Myers, one of those guys, keeps popping back up. And yeah, so that's really the big news. Everything else is pretty minor. Some lucky stiff won $500,000 on the Mardi Gras during the $1 million slot pull this week. And Royal Caribbean opened up their new cruise terminal in Galveston. And that's another thing. Carnival put Royal Caribbean spent $125 million on its new cruise terminal in Galveston. When we were in Galveston, we were with this Uber driver who lived in Galveston her whole life and just retired from Samsonite luggage. She worked for them. She was telling us her life story. And I asked her, I said, hey, Royal Caribbean's opened a new cruise terminal here. Are you guys excited about this? She says, no, they're not opening no cruise terminal here. And she was arguing with me. And yeah, I was like, okay. But they did. They opened that up this past week. Now, the Celebration is going to have a new cruise terminal. And Royal spent $125 million on theirs. I think Carnival spent like $170,000 redoing. Is it Terminal F? I think it's Terminal F. I'm not sure. I can't remember. Let's see. Terminal F, man. I'm telling you, $170 million upgrade. I'm checking my detailed notes over here. I've got a crack staff. Well, there's me. I'm not on crack though. And but anyways, yeah, $170 million for Terminal F. So that's the other thing about that naming ceremony. We're going to be seeing some kind of really fancy brand new terminal as well. And so we're excited about that. With that said, man, anyone got anything to say? Hey, Eddie Lugo. I seen some people are not happy with Disney, and they shouldn't be. We have shoes, Laura's shoes. I'll tell you, I don't have room to talk when it comes to shoes. I like to take a lot of, if I could, I'd bring 10 pairs of Vans. It's always, that's one of my hard decisions. I got to pick which 2 or 3 pairs I can take before every cruise. Okay, I'm seeing if I miss anybody in here. I really appreciate you guys being here. And like I said, we will be on hiatus for about 4 weeks. But we are going to, Eddie, we're going to, he took a long nap. I'm going to take a long nap when I'm dead. We are always running, guys. 76 hours this week. Actually, I didn't work 76 hours this week. I only worked 68 hours, We had 2 holidays this past week, 2 paid holidays. We had a holiday on Election Day, and we had a holiday for Veterans Day. So on holidays, I only work 8 hours, but I get to convert those into vacation days or PTO, and I had 1 PTO day left to the end of November, so I just rolled 2 more in, and that covers the week of Thanksgiving we're on the celebration. So that is how I do it. Who else is here? Thought I just seen somebody's name pop up that I missed. All right. Mhm. Oh, hey, Clock family, how you doing? I knew I missed somebody. Um, and like I said, you know, we were really with all this, the trouble with the airlines, guys. The flying has become such a it's such a mess for us. We have such a hard time with finding flights. It seems like there's less flights available. There's hardly any flights that are straight through anymore. Almost every single flight we book has a layover somewhere. And then on top of all that, the airfare, the rates have just doubled and tripled what they were a year ago. And the service has gone downhill. The service is absolutely horrible. And what I mean by service is you book your flight, and then they change your time on you multiple times over and over again. You got to constantly monitor your flights. And we like to book out about 4 months to 3 months out. We like to get the airfare squared away and booked for our trips. We do our best to do that. And I don't know if that's an advantage anymore doing it that way, because it's just everything is so expensive, and we're really not getting a break on anything as far as airfare goes. For example, our flight that we're going on next Saturday costs us $2,053 for 2 round trip tickets and coach. Okay. Then we fly again the following week, and a non-holiday week, it was $1,000 for 2 round trip tickets, same airline. Both of those got changed. We had adjustments to both of those flights, and we have a really bad one coming back on the second one. We're not going to get back home until like 11:15 at night. We're going to be stuck at the Miami airport, and our flight leaves like 8:15 at night, and we were going to be leaving at 1. The only good thing is it's straight through, but it's so late, it's just crazy. And now when we fly to New Orleans in January, that one is through Southwest Airlines. So I'm kind of nervous because Southwest always has layovers, and I hope they're not doing the same thing American Airlines has been doing. We've been really having serious problems with American Airlines. I'm going to just put it right out there. American Airlines has been our issue. We actually had a really good flight with Delta recently that didn't get changed around, and it worked out fine. But American Airlines has just been the pits, man. In the last year, they've gone downhill. So you got that. The hotels are maybe a little higher than they used to be a year ago. They're up maybe 10, 20%, but man, airfare is up 100%. So it's kind of pricing us. Yeah, Wormshine, we do Delta too. The problem is, Wormstrong's flying out. He lives right by us. He's probably 5-10 minutes away from us where we live right now. And we always flew Delta, but then we got to a point where we can't get Delta flights always. They're not available when we need to fly. A lot of times we're flying in the evening after I get off work. Our policy here is I don't want to burn vacation time traveling. I don't want to burn it behind the wheel of a car. I don't want to burn it flying either. So I'd prefer to fly out after work. So I'd rather work like a Friday, fly out Friday night, and get there, Friday night for a Sunday cruise. Used to be we'd fly out the day before every single time, but now that isn't even good enough half the time because you don't know what's going to happen. So we're shooting for 2 days before now. But anyways, I keep seeing people posting. That's another cruise news related thing. The cost of everything going up. There's a lot of people that don't seem to be able to grasp the concept that everything is going up. It's not just cruising. I keep reading people in cruise groups saying Carnival is pricing us out where it used to be an affordable vacation. It was a great deal and it was better than a land vacation and all this other stuff. Well, I got news for you. It's still better than the land vacation price wise because everything has gone up. Everything's gone up. If you're flying to spend a week in Fort Lauderdale or flying to spend a week out in Vegas or whatever, I assure you what you're going to pay right now for everything, flying, taxis, Ubers, meals, all that stuff, your hotel is higher now than it was a year ago. And that's what happens when, the economy is getting to a point where they're trying to stifle it and hold it down a little bit because we're going to have a massive recession if they don't raise interest rates. So it just becomes basic economics, guys. Everything's gone up. Cruising has to go up too. No one's in business they're not in a business to be a charity. They're not trying to, send everybody on a cruise ship out of the goodness of their heart. They're trying to make a profit. They have shareholders to appease. Now, keep in mind, the CDC gave the cruise industry a royal, just the shaft, guys. They just about killed the cruise industry. They really did. And people don't seem to understand that. There's not very many industries that could be shut down for 16 straight months in its largest market in the world and make it through the other side. And these cruise lines have barely done that. They have come out with monstrous debt, and they had debt going into the COVID shutdown, and they came out in monstrous debt. When we started our channel, one of the things we were doing was trying to convince people that cruising was safe and you could cruise during COVID safely, and that the cruise lines were doing a good job keeping everything clean, and that the COVID-19 protocols were keeping everybody safe. And that was our focus when we first started vlogging last August of 2021. We really placed a lot of emphasis on the importance of that because we love cruising and we don't want to see cruising get shut down. So it's actually surprising they haven't increased prices even more than they have. I think they've done it pretty, modestly if you really think about it, because our groceries are 20% higher now than they were a year ago. It's just everything's gone up, and then on top of that, minimum wage hardly anyone's making minimum wage. No one in our area is making minimum wage. They're all making double minimum wage now. They're close to it. You got people working in fast food restaurants making $14, $15, $16 an hour now because of the impact of COVID and what it did. And people had to find new jobs. So they started delivering groceries and driving for Uber and stuff. And, working in the gig economy where you essentially work for yourself for somebody else. But if you were a waiter or worked in the fast food industry or any of those places where used to have guests coming in, which created more work, those people were told, sorry, Charlie, we ain't got no work for you. And they didn't get paid, to sit at home. They had to go find something else to do. They couldn't work remote. So anyways, all that stuff and supply chain and all that is just come back to bite us. So that's where we're at. Cruising is still a great value. One of the best values you're going to get in vacation travel. The problem is there's a lot of people out there that are young and they have not been through, a recession or a nationwide or global wide slowdown of the economy. Being that, I'm a child of the 80s, really, I graduated high school in 1987. We went through the recession in the 80s, the savings and loans crash, all that stuff that happened. And, and we had a slowdown in the 90s. We had, the famous Wall Street mortgage collapse of 2008. So we've been through all that. We've been through that, and we've seen it. We've experienced it firsthand. There's a lot of young people out there that haven't been through anything real bad like that yet. And what they don't seem to understand is when the economy gets really bad, you might not be able to afford to go on a vacation for a while. right? How many of you guys out there grew up poor like Laura and I did, and you didn't go on vacations as a kid? Didn't matter how good the economy was. There was no money for that. So that is what a lot of people don't realize is, you know, when things get tough, sometimes you can't travel like that and do stuff like that. Now, you know, depending on your age and how long you've been working in your line of work and what kind of work you do, you can make it through that and continue to travel like you normally have. And it's going to cost you more, it's going to sting more, but you can still afford to do it. But if you're on the bubble where you're barely able to afford traveling before a big slowdown in the economy, you're really going to be struggling now. And that's just my advice, is just keep on working and keep your goals, save your money, be smart, and you'll be back at it again. Look at that. We did driving vacations when I was a kid. We didn't even do that, buddy. We did a trip to Cedar Point, which is like 3 hours from here, 2.5 hours from here. And we would drive in the morning of, and we would pack food, like picnic baskets and coolers full of food from home. And it would be a bunch of our family would go, and we would put it in the picnic area and cover it with blankets, and then we would meet 2 times during the day and eat as a giant family in the picnic area. And then throughout the day, when we got thirsty and stuff, the kids, we'd go back and grab a soda, or a pop, as we call it in the Midwest, and or something. And that was before bottled water. If you would have told me back then they were going to have bottled water, I would tell you you're nuts. But anyways, that's what we would do. And then we would drive home that night. So it would be, we'd beg our parents to let us stay there until nightfall. But, usually we'd leave by 7 o'clock and then go back home. And that was it. And so, yeah, that was pretty much it. And I'm not like, crying a river, being raised like that. I never knew we were poor, because I didn't know anything of what I knew. My mom and dad did a real good job of taking good care of me and never making me feel like I was wanting for anything. So, but still, as I got older, I realized that, man, traveling is actually really cool. And, man, I really missed it during the COVID shutdown. We wanted to travel so bad and we couldn't. And, it was just, we took a couple little gambles, literally and figuratively. We actually went to Vegas during the middle of it in March of 2021, my first trip to Vegas. But like you guys who've been here before, you've heard me say I really started traveling when I was 47 after Laura and I got together. And I've been all over the place now. The guys at work tease me. They're always like, man, you're a world traveler now. And I am, compared to what I was before. But again, I've worked in the same line of work, guys, the same place for 27 and a half years. I live there when I'm not traveling. That's how we afford all this. I work 7 days a week unless I'm on a cruise ship. My next day off, next Saturday, when I get on that plane to go to Miami. So with that, I want to thank you guys. We end up with a big group in here, man, a big group for Eddie's Top Cruise News of the Week. I think that was a record. I think I saw 25 at one point, which is really good. And like I said, I'll leave. If there's anybody new here, Disney's bad. We're going to boycott Disney. No mouse. They are bringing back the in-person. They brought back the in-person muster drill. Yeah, that really frosts my flakes, guys. I mean, why would anyone bring that back? My goodness, that's like the worst. That's like That's terrible. That's awful. I can't really think of anything in cruising as unpleasant as that muster drill is on that first day. The only thing worse than a muster drill is when you got to get off the ship and it's mass chaos. Everybody's got their suitcases and wheeling all over the place, and they hang on to their suitcases like Rain Man, clung to going to watch and Judge Wapner. I'm like, why are these guys dragging their suitcase? They take their suitcases all the way up to the Lido deck to eat at the buffet, and they got their suitcases all piled around them, and you can't walk through there. And guess what? You can go down to the restaurant and eat like a civilized person and leave your luggage in your room and eat a nice meal in an empty dining room. And then when you're done, stop by your room, get your luggage, and get off the ship, man. I'm ranting. So with that said, guys, I'm gonna let you guys slide. Anyone got anything they want to add or say before I get out of here? I'm looking. Wait, what do you say here? Boo Disney. You know what? I think a lot of people, man, they are just obsessed with Disney. Obsessed with Disney. And I never really got into it, man. I never really got into it. And as I got older, as an adult watching them buy up everything is really, really crazy. And then how much they charge for everything. It's just like it's almost like just I don't know, like they know everybody's obsessed and they just take advantage of them with the crazy high prices of everything. I went to Disney. What is it? What's the one in Florida? Is that Disney World or Disneyland? I went there once when I was like 21 or 22. Flew down there just to see what it was about. Never been to Florida before. And that was the first vacation I ever paid for myself. I was like, I think I was 21, 22. And spent like 5 days in Disney on International Boulevard, Sheraton World Resort, I think hotel it was. Rented a convertible for the week. That was when you could rent rental cars like that when you were 21. I think you had to be 25 now to do that. I don't know, but it was cool. But I didn't understand Disney. I was like, I thought Epcot Center was kind of cool. I thought Universal Studios was cool. My favorite thing there is something called, I think, Gatorland. See, that shows you how twisted I am. I thought it was cool watching alligators jump up and eat chickens on a rope. So that's your boy. That's Eddie. A little different. All right, guys, I'm going to let you slide. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys being here. I hope you find some value in this content. I'm going to stay on top of the cruise news. I've been working later hours than normal. So it's kind of had an impact on what I've been able to do. So with that, we will see you soon. Make sure you tune in here Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. I'll have the boss with me, Laura Jean, and we're going to be talking about stuff with the celebration and some other stuff. It's just going to be the two of us. We're going to try to engage with our audience more this time and just talk to you guys about what we have going on. Hopefully I'll have some information about celebration for you guys. And with that said, I will talk to you Tuesday. All right. Bye-bye.